Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Castlevania Circle of the Moon. In the last episode we came to the top of the observation tower and defeated Hugh and gained the last key, which gives us access to Dracula to fight him. This episode, we'll be doing just that, but first I've got somewhat of a, shall we call it a shopping list of items to go through and gather. So first things first, there are some dark armors out here. I'm going to kill them, and I want their rare drop, and specifically I want 2 of them. Aha! That was nice and quick. There's one of those straight away. That is a double grip. As the name implies, it's important to have 2 of them. That alone doesn't actually do anything. You need 2 of them equipped for them to do anything. So let's grab a second one. And there we go. So what do the double grips do? If we equip them both, you will see that it increases all of your stats, strength, defense, luck, and intelligence, all by 75. You need to have both of them equipped for that, but it's worth it. And especially it's worth it in combination with an item we're going to get a little later in the episode, further down the shopping list. Next, we're going to remain in the observation tower, and we're going to go and kill some Alraunes. Now, the Alraune drops an extremely useful item, but it drops it with about 0.5% chance, and it's a really slow enemy to kill. Summons don't speed it up or anything like that. You've just got to wait for her to pop out of the little flower and kill her manually, so it is a time-consuming thing. But let's kill some of them until we get our hands on the Potion EX. Aha, there we go. This is the Potion EX. It heals all of your health. No matter how much health you have, this will heal you back up to full health. It's rare. These are actually the only enemies that drop it in the entire game, but it is extremely useful. On a similar note, we're now going to go to the room upstairs again, and we're going to fight the devil. So, the devil can be fought relatively easily using Cockatrice. If we were slightly higher level, we would kill it in 1 with Cockatrice, but we still need to use a cross here to finish it off. But either way, it's relatively straightforward to do and much easier to fight than the Alraune, and it drops a potion with a much higher percentage chance, I think it's 2%, than the Alraune. And there we have it. That is a potion high. It heals... okay, I was slightly wrong here. I thought it heals 50% of your HP. It heals 250 HP, which is for us about a quarter, which is not amazingly useful, because I was going to gather a number of them instead of having a potion EX, instead of having multiple potion EXs, but that might not be the most useful thing. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to kill some more Alraunes, and I'm going to gather another Potion EX. And there we have it. My goodness, it is time-consuming to kill Alraunes. It's... But the point is, we got our second Potion EX. That should be more than enough to take on Dracula himself. Got one final thing to do now. There's an enemy in the machine tower that we got access to after killing Death or Camilla, one of them, can't remember which. So let's head to the machine tower. So here we have the Lilim. She appears in this room. She is most easily fought with Thunderbird. Pretty much, unless she's particularly dodgy in her maneuvers, a single Thunderbird should kill her. She actually has 2 drops. The rare one is the one we're going for, but if we get some of the common one along the way, that's no bad thing. So let's kill some of these and see how it goes. Aha, well there's the common drop there. That is a Mind High. We've got these already from some odd spectres and things like that, but that heals 50% of your MP. Just 50% rather than an actual value. I think that's what I was thinking of with the Potion High, and I got kind of confused between them. But it'll be useful to just... Well, this isn't exactly what we're looking for, but it'll be useful if we can grab a couple of these while we're here for taking on Dracula. Ho 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 ho! That's what we were looking for here. This is the Dark Armor. It is technically one of the 2 most powerful armors in the game. It gives you a defense boost of 550, which is incredible. The trade-off is it takes 10 off every one of your other stats. This is why I wanted to go out of my way to gather the double grips, because the double grips give you a little boost to everything, so they pretty much offset the effect of the dark armor. The only armor you can get that's better than that is the one you get for beating the battle arena, which I have no interest in doing now, as I may have mentioned once or twice. One final thing to gather, I said we were done, but that was a lie. We've got one more DSS card together, because I said you can only get Unicorn and Black Dog from the battle arena, but we've actually got one more action card. So, let's head back to the room in which we fought Cerberus. Not sure why I left that pause there. So, in this room, we have the Trick Candle, which fights exactly like the Mimic Candle. It's got slightly more health, so you can't do this quite as soon. So because it's got 200 health, we wouldn't have been able to do this immediately when we got the same time we got the card from the other candle. But these two do unlock at the same time, and let's kill a few of them until we get our final action card, the Pluto card. And there is the Pluto card. So, the Pluto card is the action of weird stuff. I can't really explain it any better than that. Each effect does something kind of random. We start with Salamander, which does the Item Crush. This is essentially the superpowered version of your sub-weapon. So with the cross, as you can see there, it kind of does this super cross thing. Not great to demonstrate on extremely weak enemies, but can be handy. It's kind of like a summon in its own way. It does different things for different sub-weapons. Not the most useful one, though. Serpent is extremely interesting. Pluto as a whole kind of modifies sub-weapon stuff, if I'm honest, then. Because with Salamander, you throw double crosses. You throw them forward and backwards, which isn't the most handy thing ever, but it is vaguely interesting. Mandragora is where it gets quite cool. You need to hit an enemy in order to see this active. There you go. What it does is experience point gain increases by 20%. That would be handy if we weren't already ridiculously overleveled. Well, not ridiculously overleveled, but high level anyway. This next one is potentially extremely handy. This is Golem, which creates a dark clone. This clone is, you pay magic for every second this clone is active, but it does everything you do. So you hit twice. Most importantly, if you throw sub-weapons with it, you will throw 2 sub-weapons, but you will only pay the heart cost once. Extremely handy stuff. Then you get Cockatrice. With Cockatrice, your defense increases based on the amount of time you've been playing the game for. You can trick that. Absolutely, you can just stand here, still, let the game run overnight for hours and hours and hours, and that will go up pretty much indefinitely. Similarly, with Thunderbird, your strength increases based on playtime, so it's much the same thing as Cockatrice, but for offense instead of defense. Pluto Manticore, quite handy. Your sub-weapons don't use hearts, they use magic points. That's actually going to be useful in the upcoming battle because it's handy for cases where you know you're going to have a chance to let your magic points regenerate rather than kind of using up hearts. Then finally, Griffin is a very interesting one, which is super speed. While you're running, you run at double speed. This doesn't carry over to jumps and stuff like that. You can't do longer jumps, and it doesn't work while walking, but actually it does work while walking. Yeah. But yeah, your running speed is doubled. Right, I'm just going to quickly heal up my hearts here, then we'll try something else. Now, I've talked briefly before about the final 2 cards that we're not going to be able to get yet. Unicorn, the element of light, and Black Dog, the element of darkness. You can only get these from the battle arena, which I have no intention of doing before the end of the game because it's hard and unlikely, and I don't really want to grind anymore. But I want to show off what these card effects do. So I introduced you now the DSS glitch. Select a combination you've already got access to, so just for example the Fire Whip. Activate it, and you'll notice there's a time delay while it's activating. During that time, pause. At this point, select any card combination, whether you own it or not. And then unpause. And that card combination is the combination which is activated. So we see this is Unicorn and Mercury. This is the Holy Whip, Batman. So it deals light damage and it heals you for damage for health proportional to your level, regardless of whether you hit or not, which is quite handy. So I'm going to go now through what the Black Dog and Unicorn combos do anyway. So, Venus and Unicorn is quite an interesting one. It halves your strength but doubles your defense. Unicorn stuff is largely healing and defense orientated, so that can be actually super handy. Equally, Unicorn Jupiter creates the best shield in the game. It blocks projectiles, and it's like an upgraded version of the Speedrunner's shield, the kind of Griffin one, that it just does a lot more damage. It doesn't protect you from, it does basically as much damage as a normal whip would. It doesn't protect you from enemies, so if you don't kill them on the first hit, you will still then physically run into them, but it can block pretty much anything from really getting a decent hit at you. Ooh, a heart, which is quite handy. Now, Mars Unicorn is extremely handy, and it's annoying that we don't really have true access to it. It is the Holy Sword. As you can see, its range is incredible, deals light damage, and as you can see from the swing, it actually spawns behind us. So it does a hell of a proper swing and basically hits any enemy in a line with you, which is, quite frankly, amazing. This is a save point, excellent. I'm learning this game well. Unicorn and Diana is not the most useful. it creates a kind of homing ball that will fly towards the nearest enemy and damage it. It's useful, but it ain't exactly amazing. The ball can actually fly around and sometimes hit multiple enemies if they're close enough to each other, which is kind of cool. In combination with Apollo, it summons Holy Spears, which hits pretty much everything on the ground. It's kind of like, it's one of the ones like the Golem summon that's, the Golem Apollo one that's a kind of small scale summon. Neptune, I'm not going to bother showing off. Neptune obviously increases your, makes you resist holy damage. Only a few things in the game deal light damage. Holy armors do. Hue does light damage. Some of the angel-y kind of ones like the Succubus and the Fallen Angel and stuff do light damage, so it can be handy for that. Saturn is not the best combination with Unicorn. It creates Little Angel, which fires shots on a time delay, and they don't home or anything like that, so really not very handy unless you get a bit shitey with it. It's not really the best. The Unicorn Summon is incredibly handy, and it's annoying we don't really have access to it. Observe. It does a hell of a lot of healing, and it's very cheap. It's the best way of healing as well, because during that, unlike the kind of Venus and Mandragora one, you don't have to be standing still for it to work, and you can't get hit during that time because you're doing a summon, so you're completely invincible while healing. Very handy. Shame we don't have it. It's almost worth grinding for the Unicorn card in order to have that for the final boss, but I don't want to do the battle arena yet. So finally, Pluto and Unicorn is a really interesting one. It's invincibility. Complete invincibility. With a cost, though. I can't do any damage. You are completely immune from all damage, but in return you cannot deal any damage either. Handy for just running past stuff, other than that, doesn't really have much of a use. And now we move on to Black Dog. Black Dog, as I mentioned, is the element of darkness. So if we open up with the old Mercury, it is, of course, a Dark Whip. It's quite powerful and leaves a kind of black cloud behind it, which keeps doing damage for a few seconds after it's gone. Handy stuff. Now, Black Dog Venus is the opposite of Unicorn Venus. It doubles your strength and halves your defense. Handy in some situations, I suppose. Jupiter and Black Dog is like the Unicorn one. It's this kind of shield around you. It's very powerful. That shield does a lot of damage, but the trade-off is it poisons you. While this combination is active, you remain poisoned, though you will stop being poisoned the moment you turn it off. Mars Black Dog. Now, this is a very, very bizarre one. I want a chance to test it out properly here. It's a gun. It is legitimately a gun. You're very slow to fire with it. Ooh, spiced meats. But it deals a lot of damage, and it does go through all enemies, so yeah, I guess that could be useful. It's more just a weird little Easter egg. Now, Diana and Black Dog makes a dark orb appear when you shoot the whip. It makes a lot of dark orbs appear. They seem to do very little, though, unless you're not looking at the enemy you attack. So I guess if you're surrounded, it can be handy, but I've never really seen much of a use for it myself. Now, Apollo Black Dog is awesome. Watch. It creates a black hole that attaches to the nearest enemy and kind of just keeps attacking them until either they die or it moves on. It will keep bouncing between enemies that way, and it's very fun and can do a lot of damage, especially to kind of large crowds of enemies. Now, Neptune and Black Dog makes you immune to darkness. Darkness is a handy one, because most enemies that deal kind of non-elemental damage, like a grizzly, like all the types of skeletons, stuff like that, if an enemy doesn't have really an obvious element, it tends to be darkness. Most enemies in the game are darkness type, so immunity to that is extremely handy. It's just a shame that the Black Dog card is such an arse to get, and you can never really get it until quite late in the game. Saturn Black Dog. This one is a whole heap of fun. You get this little imp familiar, and he's a really unusual one. You have to spin the whip to charge him up. When you think he's fully charged, wait for him to be in the right position to your attack, and let go. And he will just do his attack, and he will keep doing that for as long as you charge the whip for. The longer you charged him for, the longer it will last. I think it obviously does have an upper limit on it. Power is always the same for each hit, but it fires more the more you charge it up. Every shot he fires is what drains your magic. Now, Uranus and Black Dog is a strange one. Black Dog appears and deals damage and heals you for every bit of damage you do. Unfortunately, the damage it does is a goddamn joke. It does like 6 damage at a time, so it's essentially, I would go as far as to say, utterly, utterly useless. And the final one, I'm not going to show off here because it's extremely dangerous when there's any enemies anywhere near you. If I come through here, where it's nice and safe, let's activate Pluto and Black Dog. Yes. You turn into a skeleton. You can't use any of your powers and stuff like that. You can jump, but that's about it. Press B to throw a bone. And when you're in skeleton mode, one hit will kill you. Wow, one hit will do 9999 damage, which will almost certainly kill you. There is one advantage to skeleton mode, which I'm hoping to see. You note that I'm throwing bones? There we go. Every so often you throw a big bone. That big bone deals 9999 damage. That can kill entire bosses in one, and it's extremely handy. Speedrunners love it, I'm told. But it's not really of much practical value. And that is every DSS combination in the game. I just thought I'd show off those ones before the kind of final everything happened. Now, we got a few things to gather briefly, because I've forgotten a couple of upgrades throughout the thing. So, we're going to first... I'm not even going to bother cutting, actually, I was going to cut, but I'm here where I need to be already, basically. We're in the underground waterway. We need to go a bit further through it, unfortunately. Now, if I come here, I can show you where I am on the map, in the kind of top right near this little room. You can only get this thing when you've got the rock swing, shoot up here, and you'll be stuck in this little ceiling crev here. And there you have it. Easy to miss, this one. And yeah, this is why I didn't go back for it, because as soon as I got the rock swing, I wanted to get the fuck out of the underground waterway, because it's a whole heap of guff. Anyway, one final thing to get now. Actually, no. One final thing to show off, one final thing to get to show. Go. Wait, I'm confused myself. I'm going to the Eternal Corridor. I'll see you there. Now, it's worth noting that you probably wouldn't normally come back to the Eternal Corridor, so this is why the enemy I'm about to show off is quite easy to miss. You'll notice I've got the dark copy active because it's cool as shit. But yes, you can easily just skip over the Eternal Corridor now because there's a warp point at one end and there's a warp point at the other end, so there's no real need to come through it. But if you were to come through here after defeating Death or Camilla, one of them certainly, then you will see something interesting. Kill that fucker. Which is... evil hand. I started talking too soon, I forget which section they're in. Here we go, below the witch is a Franken. This is a grizzly. It's the strongest form of the grizzly, technically, and it attacks in the same way, but it's a kind of giant Frankenstein-y monster thing. But yes, it is essentially an evolved form of the grizzly. As you can see, its attack is exactly the same as a grizzly or a werebear or all that kind of thing, so there you have it. Now that I've shown that off, we've seen pretty much every enemy in the game. There's two we haven't seen, the white armor and the devil armor, which are only in the battle arena, so they'll be reserved for the bonus episode. Other than that, let's head back to the audience room. Well, that's cool. It drops soldier fatigues, which are pretty rare. I think they raise all of your stats a little bit, so they'll look better than our dark armor, yeah, because they'll give a bit of a boost to everything. But they don't give us anywhere near the defense boost the dark armor does, so really not worth it in the long run. There's also fucking bees in this part of the corridor now, which is irritating, hence why I've got Manticore and Neptune on. Oh, bees! The bees! Bees! God, I hate them sometimes. Now, this is actually a little embarrassing. Right at the top here, this is a common part of the audience room we've been through thousands of times, and yet, there you have it. A hidden room that I just forgot to do. It's got an axe armor in it that tells you give you a good idea of when we were supposed to do it. The final MP max upgrade in the game. We've already had the final hearts upgrade in the game, and the final HP upgrade is just ahead of us. We're going to save up, then we're going to head over to the drop into the abyss. Now, don't fall into the abyss, though it doesn't matter because we've got the rock swing. With the last key, we can open the door into the ceremonial room. The tiniest area in the game. One little thing of note here. There is a HP upgrade, max upgrade here, the final one in the game. And I really like the background design here. It's got a really cool demon-y looking thing. But that's it. That's the extent of the ceremonial room. I'm going to equip Pluto and Manticore, which means my sub-weapons will use magic points rather than hearts. And let's head in. You have done well to come so far. Master. Impeccable timing. The time for the rite is upon us. Your soul will become ours as well. Not if I can help it. Master, are you alright? What an emotional display. But don't fool yourself. Even you must have darkness upon your soul. What? To be superior. To be honored for your singular accomplishments. to be loved by all, to get the glory even at the expense of others. That is what your friend craved. I just increased that desire, that power. You despicable blight! How dare you toy with his soul! I'll get you for that! And here begins the fight with Dracula. Very simple. Watch where he teleports in and lob a couple of crosses there. Now you can see why I put the old, the thing that means I use MP rather than hearts on. He throws bats at you. He throws bats of 3 elements. Those are ice bats. You can absorb them by kind of putting the Neptune combination of that element on, but there's really no point. He's going to do electric bats now, I think, which does them at all a bit of a thing. And then the first one he did is, then he'll be back to fire bats, which is 3 of them kind of in a line. Oh no, he doesn't do it in order necessarily. That's cool. Either way, he's a really simple boss. We just wait for him to teleport in, work out where he's going to be, lob a couple of crosses that way. With the Manticore-Pluto combo on, you don't even have to really, with as much MP as we've got, we don't even have to really worry about hearts. There you go. That was easy, wasn't it? This is a Nintendo game. You think that's it? You're a fool. Power. I need my full power. Huh? Chase him! Don't let him escape! Oh! I'll take care of Father. You go after him. Right. Get Master to safety. Nathan, banish Dracula, then make sure you get out. I will. Worth noting, at this point, you're completely free. You can go back, you can save, you can heal, you can do anything else you've got left to do in the game, not that we've got a great deal. Or you can go through and face Dracula himself, which is exactly, of course, what we're going to do. We're going to put on Uranus and Thunderbird. And you want to make sure you're fully healed. So I'm going to do that. And with that all sorted, let's head in. Now, we get teleported to this really cool astral plane, and as you'll see, Dracula is a hideous beast! And he has 3 main attacks. That's his first one. He's kind of summoning lasers, and you can hear the sound of them. They're very powerful, and you just want to stay the fuck away from them. They fire from his kind of shoulder heads. You can only damage him when the eye in the center of his chest is open. He'll then close it, he'll teleport somewhere new, and he'll do another attack. What flashes will depend on what the attack's going to be. Now he's summoning comets. When he summons comets, they do a lot of damage. They're stone damage, so you can absorb them. Best way of doing that is to do that, though, is just dodge them. Or fire off a summon, because you're invincible while summon is happening. And finally, his bottom eyes are flashing. Oh, he didn't each of his attacks in order. The bottom mouths spit out nasty gunk. Whip spinning is enough to just prevent you from this, protect you from this. And as for damaging him, oh shit, we're poisoned. Have I got any antidotes? Otherwise this is going to be extremely embarrassing. I've got 4 antidotes, we're fine. What you then want to do is, while he's doing any of his attacks, throw a cross up and get it into his chest. Okay, he's going to do lasers again. Lasers, the best way to dodge them is just to fly, basically, and listen for when that's done. He usually does 2 or 4. He's done 4 there, so we're fine. Probably get another hit in quickly. Yeah. Let crosses really just do the work for you here, because otherwise you have to get very close into him to actually whip him. So, there you go! He's going to do a summon. Okay, right, let's see if we can... There we go. So we got some damage in while that summon is... It basically, obviously, summoning makes you invincible while his... Oh, fireball thing's going off, so it's pretty handy too. Right, he's doing Guff again. The Guff is fine, because that gives me quite a lot of a chance to... Oh, right, second form. Here's where it gets interesting. He is extremely powerful in this form. Just don't let him anywhere the fuck near you. He still fired that stuff at me, so... He will teleport in. Get out of the way. The moment he teleports in, hold up and just jump out the way of the rock swing and keep jumping. He's charging at you. That charge will do about 300 points of damage. It's extremely powerful. Once he's done doing it, he will transform into an eye surrounded by bats. The eye this is where you can damage him. You can try and fight it manually, but it's easier to set off a Thunderbird summon. And then you do as much damage as I can, and he'll disappear, and then he'll come back in and charge at you. Oh, I thought it was going to turn me back into human in the worst possible time. Well, stop me from doing the summon thing. But as I say, flying up is the best way of dodging that. Man, I might not even need any of the healing stuff. Like, oh my god, you see how freaking powerful that is. I'm going to heal, but not fully at this point. Just going to drink everything that's not a potion EX that I have. That's me basically healed anyway. Still got 2 potion EXs. Should be fine. Now, you can use crosses on these as well, or you can use... I found a Thunderbird summon's probably the best way of doing it, because wherever he is on the map, it hits him. And it hits all the bats as well, which is why it causes some significant slowdown. Probably that's it for now. Yep, now it's going to come back to human, and woohoo, up the way! You can just see how devastating that attack can be, but if as long as you use the rock swing cleverly, you pretty much... It's tough to get hit by it. Where's he gone? Oh, he's battered again. Oh, shit. Thunderbird, Thunderbird. Where's my doing the button combination when you're under stressful conditions is extremely hard. I think we might have him. Oh, that's a lot of slowdown, though. Okay, he's coming back. And woo! It is fun dodging that thing using the rock swing. You got to jump just after he spawns in, at the last moment, and you'll dodge out of the way, because he doesn't go in just a straight line, he can actually arc himself, so you can just see how much damage that does. It can really mince through you. The more closer he is to dying, the more times he'll do that charge before turning into an eyeball again. This should be the final hit on him. Or not. Well, that's annoying. If I lure him down here, we might be able to get him with a cross. Or not. No, that was completely useless, wasn't it? Oh, the ninja! Woo! He's back! Oh, I didn't realize he'd transformed again, and weep! Basically, yeah, when he slides backwards, that's your chance to jump over him, or you can just keep flying. I think if you're at the top of the room, he can't really get you there. Here's the eyeball again. Okay, fuck crosses, I'm just going to use Thunderbirds. It's easier. Thunderbirds, I'll go! Terrible reference. Terrible. Is that it? That sounded like that did a lot of... Not that I'm scared of him or anything. I think it's a really cool bit of... Fuck. It's a really cool bit of design on Dracula's final form. He looks very... Well, very Japanese, obviously, but I think he looks really cool. He's still doing more! Oh my god, man. Right, that's got to be him battered up. Yeah, he is battered up here because it's doing damage. Hey, there we go! Well, he's in the air, burning. It is a wasted effort. I will never be truly gone. So long as there is darkness and desire in the soul of man, I will continue to be revived. And we will be there to stop you. You can bet on that. Master, are you well? Nathan, thank you. You did well. You have become a hunter in your own right. Hugh, I need to thank you as well. But your training must begin anew. I know, Father. I will train like I was reborn to become worthy. Hey Nathan, if you become soft, I'll take over from you. I look forward to the challenge, Hugh. And there we go. That was Castlevania Circle of the Moon, an interesting Let's Play. And now we do the traditional dissection on the credits. I may have been a little overleveled for the final boss, I'm not entirely sure. I used most of my healing equipment that I got actually, so I couldn't have lasted much longer there, but it's super handy to have the double grips and the dark armor and the healing things and stuff like that, and I'm probably ready just about to take on the battle arena, which will be in the bonus episodes. But it's fun, I do enjoy the final boss in that, it tests you quite a lot, and it's good fun, it's cool design, good music, and the game as a whole, I would say is that. It's designed well, the gameplay's fairly solid, it looks pretty good for its time, and the soundtrack is really good on it. It just has some mechanical gameplay issues for me. I think my main problem is with the DSS system. It's so crucial to the game. The game is so boring if you don't have DSS, and it's difficult without DSS. But the DSS system seems almost accidental. Like, you can go the whole game and pretty much only come across the Mercury and Salamander cards, because the rest of them, you don't know what enemy drops them. If you don't know much about the game, you're not going to sit there and grind on like random enemies and just try and get DSS cards that way. It would make more sense if DSS cards came with logical things, so enemies of a certain element carried cards of their element, but it's not always that obvious, which I think is really stupid, because the fact that you can go through the game quite easily without getting DSS cards just seems to ruin what's a key component of it for me. As for how it's been as a Let's Play series, I think it's been alright. Not my best, because I think this game is not the best game. Well, it's a fun game to play. I'm not sure if it's the best game to Let's Play. I think I kind of screwed myself by putting up something extremely complicated. I would say, and I never thought I'd say this, Visualizer was too complicated. It meant it was a hell of a lot of editing work, and it was also a lot of gameplay work, so there's a lot of grinding and off-camera stuff. Here's your statistic. For every 20 minutes of real game footage, 40 minutes was cut. So only a third of the total footage I generated was actually used because there was so much off-camera. Ooh, that's interesting. But generally, it was fun. It was short and sweet. And yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll look better when I look back on it. At the moment, it's just been so much of my time and effort has been making it, so it doesn't feel that. Well, that's very loud. It doesn't feel that good, but who knows? I may look back on it more favorably. I'm going to do some bonus episodes. But first, congratulations, you got the Magician's password, Fireball. Please input it on the name entry screen. There are 4 bonus modes to this game, which I will talk about in the bonus episodes. Magician mode is the first one of those bonus modes, and Fireball is the password you need for it. You don't have to complete the game to get that password, you can use it from the start, but this is old-style games where the passwords are always the same and you just had to know them. So yeah, there'll be a bonus episode where I will discuss the extra modes, I will discuss the Battle Arena, and I will go through anything else I've forgotten or left out of this. Then there'll be another bonus episode where I show off how I edited this, the kind of my whole workflow for editing, recording, and all that stuff, which should all be good fun. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this short little journey. Next, I've got a major project upcoming in a little bit, but for the next few weeks will be a minor project. We'll be returning to Sonic Heroes with Team Rose, for which I'll put a trailer following this. That'll be an experience. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this series. I've been the Doctor, and this has been Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Thank you very much, and good day.
Oh, I wonder where Sonic is. Oh, no! Amy, please be more careful with our only clue. You're right, I'm sorry. Nice hat, Big. Chocolate. Hey, you guys, cheer up. You know we'll find them. No time to waste just standing here. Come on, let's get going. Okay.